Hello. And this is the next day. I'm already starting to lose count of how many of these videos I've done, which means I'm doing it right. So, let's get right into it. So I finished Unit 0, Lesson 1 yesterday, and I'm getting into Unit 1, Lesson 2, and it looks like there's some shit that I need to read before getting into the nitty-gritty. And so something I noticed during Lesson 1 is there's a circle. And it turns out that I had no idea what to do with in one of those, and it turns out that one's going to be coming up in this one. So, I legit just saw those words. So, in a previous lesson, we studied the basic letters. There are still some more letters that you will need to wrap your head around before going any further. So, looks like the Korean syllable stacking is the same. You also learned number 2 is always a vowel, and that the other numbers are always consonants, which I happen to like. That makes the words easier to say. Alright, the first new letter that you will learn is confusing at first, but again, it is something you'll need to memorize before going any further. Our new letter is a circle. Okay. Number 1 is always a consonant, as well as number 3, if there is one, but that does mean that every syllable must start with a consonant. Sort of. When the letter circle is placed at number 1 in the syllable, it is silent. That's why I didn't know it was there on that one yesterday. Or was it the day before? Doesn't matter. And the first sound made is the vowel in the number 2 position. That would explain why I didn't know that. Why I didn't recognize that fact. So, some examples on. Okay, so I see the silent O with. I'm using O and circle interchangeably. The A and the N and the Un, On, Ib. Alright, so adding that to this list, and then silent beginner. That way I know where it goes and why I should care. Using the silent letter, we are able to follow the rule that you've learned earlier. Number 2 is always a vowel. Okay. What makes the letter O slightly more tricky is that it makes another sound when placed as number 3. When placed as number 3, that being the third letter, it has the sound ing, as in walking. Some examples: Kang, Bang, King, Kong. The letter O can be placed in number 1 and 3. Okay. It can go in both places, not just that it can go in either or, but it can be placed in both. Such as ang. In addition to that letter, there are some more letters also writing that so that it signifies beginner 3. Actually, I'm just going to write 3. It didn't signify third syllable. That way I know to look for it. In addition to that letter, there are some more letters that will need to be learned. Grab a new blank piece of paper. I got the notebook, but I want to keep using that for the actual lesson study. There's lesson study itself. These blank paper pages will serve as a viable substitute. There are some more letters that need to be learned. Luckily, each of the following letters is very similar in appearance and sound to the letters you've already learned. Unfortunately, this adds to the confusion for English speakers because it is very hard to distinguish between the two letters. Because, of course, I will present them in sets. For instance, the K/G is a letter you've already learned. There's the double K is a new letter. It is two K's placed side by side. It sounds very similar to the original, but it's more forced at the beginning of the pronunciation is romanized a KK. I think it'd be easier just to capitalize the K. That way it really hits home, just like BAM! Then there's the double B, the double J. Alright, so double J also kind of has like almost a JT twist to it, I noticed. It sounds very similar to the original, but it's more forced at the beginning, blah blah. Alright, here's an actual new one rather than just writing a double. This right here looks like a person. I have a feeling that there's a reason for that. So this is romanized as ch, as in ch. It sounds very similar to the original j, but is romanized as ch. Okay, that explains that. That actually kind of explains the J sound more. J, ch. Okay, it's closer to the ch in English, but even in English, J and CH are very similar, such as char and jar, and try distinguishing the two. Maybe it's where I'm from, but I hear the difference between the two very distinctively. I don't know. There's D and double D. Then there's a new letter. Oh. Shit, there are other new letters as well. So I mentioned the K. Harder K. Then harder B. It's closer to P. Looks like the Roman numeral for 2. That happens to be how I write those Roman numerals. Rather than individually, I connect them. So that's not going to be hard for me to distinguish. Then the next one, double D, but it's a T. Looks like an E. Like a capital E, not a lowercase one. Then SS is, yeah. Those new letters are simple because they're just building letters which you already know. On the other hand, they add confusion because the new letters sound very similar to the previous ones. Yeah. All the new letters can form syllables, just like the letters you learned in lesson 1. For example, DD, A, ing, or dang, dong. Okay, so the double letters take the place of one letter. Simple enough. So this makes sense. Like, I'm actually able to follow this. Simple enough. All right. I'm listening to each of the letters individually. So for the letter B, like the double B is definitely emphasized a lot more. All right, I'm actually looking at the writing on this. On the P, it doesn't look like this when they're stacked like that. It actually looks more like that. There's a distinct space at the top of the letter P, like double P, and like it is consistent across the board. Like that is clearly something I need to look at and not just assume. That doesn't sound like a CH on the double J. It really does just sound like a more emphasized J, like ja, G, ja, ja, ju, j, jol. That's why. Because that's the cha. That's the hardened J. Maybe if I'd have paid more attention, I wouldn't have this problem. D, da, duh, do, duh, do. T, ta, t, tu. Sorry. No, not tu. T, tu, to. Si, sa, sa, su, su, so. Okay. So listen to a lot of those. Okay. Now, all right, so this is the first time I'm checking in back at looking at myself in the video. This is still kind of fun, but the complexity is being added. And of course, this is where it's going to start getting harder because I'm just doing this one lesson at a time rather than just letting it sink in over time. But I kind of like doing it this way because it forces me to remember what I've already forgotten. Which actually is one of those Language Jones recommendations is like forget something and then come back to it so you're forced to remember it again. At least that's how I understand him explaining it. That way you have to observe or you have to absorb the material over and over and over again. That way the repetition actually sinks in. At least that's my takeaway from it. I don't know. I doubt he's ever going to watch this video, in which case it doesn't really matter. But I'm giving it a shot. Alright, so now I'll start putting it into practice now this video's run long enough. Or run to 15 minutes, I should say. So, round one. Okay. 5 words, just like last time. E, Room. I room. I room. Okay. Okay, so based on what I learned, because it starts with a vowel, vowel has to be the second letter, which means that the silent O goes in front. I room. The da, I room. I room. So now let's see how badly I fuck this up. That way I can, feel bad when I get it wrong. And let's see, it's been 10 seconds yet. Here we go. Ah! Got the circle. And I got the E. The room. Ah! I wrote it right. It means name. So pa. So pa. What was the O? Pa. So pa. Alright, so I think it looks like this. So I already have to use the O. Now what I don't know is if it's so as in so or so. Meaning the emphasis on the S to make it like a double S, in which case, how am I supposed to identify that? Or hear that when it's like this? I assume this is a cognate for soap. Hey! Hey! Oh, sofa. So it's not soap, it's sofa. Il pon. The il pon. Circle. I pon. That's right. All right. So I'm remembering some of these letters, not all of them. So I'm writing this. The question is this going to be a double B or not? Because I've got a feeling that here pretty soon he's going to start throwing that in there. But it's got the circle. Yeah, it's got the circle. Nailed it, I think. How off am I? How did I fuck this up? I'm watching you video. El pon. Ah? Ah! I got it right. That's Japan. That's Nihon. Ida. Ida. That's right. It goes that way. All right. Now, is this gonna be a D or a double D, or is it just the circle thing again? Because he hasn't added any of those double letters yet. Now I'm watching you. I'm expecting this madness to transpire. I don't know, man. Okay. Got that. No, I got it right. That's the to be. Oh, they have to be verbs. That's anti-rad. Jongo. Jungkook. So I think Jungkook looks like this. So I know this one's right. J U Ing Jung Gook. I think it looks like this. See, this one I'm not as confident in. It's the last one, so it makes sense you throw the curveball there. Okay. I got it right. That one's China. Yeah, that one actually wasn't that bad. I was anticipating that to be very, very anti-rad, when in fact it was very, very rad. If nothing else, because I didn't fuck it up that bad. Needless to say, my language is going to get far more vulgar going forward, because it just feels more real if I'm speaking like I normally would speak. I have no idea how to say fucking Korean. I know how to say it in several other languages, but Asian languages are not among them. I'm not going to say what it is in Russian, because that one has other meanings as well, and that one won't go very well, though I know a couple of words for that. Most of the European languages, they kind of use the word shit in place of fuck. Like in German, they usually say Scheiße, even though it means shit. The word fuck actually derives from German, ficken. Okay, I'm gonna get off the vulgar monstrosity, and I'm gonna get into lesson 2, or sorry, the second segment of that, and I will call it a day on this, because I think I'm gonna be satiated. So, now for something else. Actually, I'm gonna make that one tomorrow. I just opened it up and saw, so those videos had been about 2 to 2.5 minutes long, sometimes 3. The longest one was 5. This is 13 minutes long, and this is already 23 minutes long, 23 and a half. Timer at the bottom. So I'm just going to go ahead and call it good there, because I did do some effective madness there. Now I'm not just going to spend the next 6 minutes blathering about the word fuck. So I think I am satisfied with what I have thus far. Yeah, no, I said I was going to use the notebook for this, but I ended up using this paper. Whatever. There's going to be plenty more for the notebook later anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and call it good. I need to be up relatively early in the morning. Much earlier than I want to be. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it off there. And cheers.